Well, obviously we've played St Mirren already 3 times this season. We've had some really good performances against them, and hence why we won all 3 fixtures. But it's always a difficult game. You've got to be at your best to beat a good team like St Mirren. You know that they're going to be organised. It's going to be physical at times, and we need to match that physicality. But we're looking forward to the game. It's obviously the last game in a very congested period for us. Tomorrow will be the 7th game in less than 3 weeks for the players. So it's a tough ask, but we believe that we've got enough energy and fitness levels left in the squad to get through this last hurdle.
How difficult a period has it been physically for the team? Because obviously, usually there's a winter break at this point, but you're now in a situation where you've had a number of fixtures in a very short space of time.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's been the same for every team out there, but I don't think it's a coincidence that you see the amount of squads out there struggling with injuries to a lot of key players, given the demands that have been put on all of the players in the country this year. We've got one more game than others because of the Celtic league fixture being cancelled due to the Cup, similar to Dundee Rangers last night. So, St Mirren go into this game with the extra recovery, having not played midweek, but I do think it's been a really tough demand for all the squads in the country, and we've certainly tried to manage it as best we could. We've had to try and rotate things from time to time, and we've been really pleased with how we've actually got through it with the points return and everything. We've had some really difficult games over the festive period. I mean, we played Celtic twice. Obviously had the Dundee derby, played Aberdeen and Hearts, arguably all the top teams in the country, and we've came through that difficult spell with 10 points, which I think is a really good return, and that's what's put us in the good position that we're in. So there'll be no excuses tomorrow. The players have proven already the mental strength that's in the group. Obviously there's a bit of fatigue and tiredness, and there's lots of players playing through little niggles right now, but they understand what's at stake, and we want to go to Paisley tomorrow, give a good account of ourselves, and hopefully be on the right end of the result again.
And obviously, as you say yourselves, you have come out of this period with some really good results. But is it something going forward like next season that you think should perhaps be looked at, this congestion, or is it something that the players actually thrive on?
Well, I think we're all kind of accepting the fact that the congestion is going to be there going forward. I think now with the new setup in the European leagues as well, with the Champions League and the Conference and the Europa League, the volume of games has increased, and that seems to be the case year on year on year. You used to have an 8 or a 9 month season, and then it became a 10 month, and it's almost an 11 month season now with the amount of competitions that the players have to play in. And then obviously, players who are away on international duty don't get any break at all. So I can't see it reducing anytime soon. But I'm not sure it can, get much more, to be honest, because I think the players are only human at the end of the day, and their welfare should be a priority for everybody, because we want the games to be competitive, and nobody wants to be going to games of football where players are running at 50-60% of their capacity. So hopefully next season it won't be as busy.
How important is it for you to get back to winning ways? Because obviously you've had a couple of defeats, albeit it could have gone either way really in both games.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've had 2 defeats in 2 very difficult games. Prior to that, we had won 3 games on the bounce. The game here against Hearts, we felt we could have taken a point on the day. We didn't play particularly well. I made a couple of changes late on to try and win the game, and in hindsight, you're probably looking back on it thinking, I should have been satisfied with the point, given where the players were at in terms of the energy levels. The game at Parkhead on Wednesday was always going to be a tough ask. There's not many teams that have went there this season and had much success. We were pleased with the game plan and how it was working. The first goal was a real disappointing one for us because we felt that we caused it, by our own sloppiness on the 18-yard line. McCowan nicks the ball off of Odada, and then it's a simple tap in for Maeda in the end. So at 1-0 we were always in the game, and we kept going, kept pushing, kept trying to get that equaliser, and nearly did on one or two occasions, but it just wasn't to be. So we're not feeling too sorry for ourselves after the last couple of games. As I said, we've had some really, really tough fixtures. To beat Aberdeen here, to take a point and keep a clean sheet against Celtic here in the last couple of weeks, and obviously to beat our rivals Dundee across the road in that derby game. We've had some great results, and unfortunately throughout the course of the season you're going to lose games of football, but it's how you respond to that, and I've got every faith in the group that we'll respond in a positive fashion.
And of course the transfer window being open, are you working behind the scenes to bring new faces into Dundee United?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, similar to every other manager out there, I would imagine. We all want to strengthen. We're going into the second half of the campaign now, where you want to come out of the window stronger than what you went into it. And it's not about trying to replace anybody within the current squad. It's just about trying to add quality and to kind of ease that pressure of the workload from the players that we have with us. So yes, absolutely, we're working really hard behind the scenes to try and add at least one, potentially two, to the group that we've got, to make sure that we're in a strong position going into the end of the season.
Has it made it more difficult, the sort of fixture schedule? Has that made it more difficult to try and bring players in?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've had 3 games in the space of 6 days, not a great deal of time in between, but I've been on the phone regularly with agents and other clubs, and obviously with Michael Kearney, my chief scout, discussing the options that are available to us, and I'm confident that we will be able to add to the squad in this window.
And obviously you spoke about Sam Dalby before and his situation. Is there any chance that he could be recalled, and is he a player that you're trying to potentially get on a permanent deal?
Yeah, I mean, look, Sam is loving life at Dundee United. There's no getting away from the fact that he's a Wrexham player and he's on loan. But we have got it, from Wrexham, that they're happy with what Sam is doing up here. I know that Sam is loving his football at the moment. It's the longest run in a team that he's had for a considerable amount of time, and I think he appreciates the fact that we've given him this opportunity to go and enjoy his football and score goals. So I think I'm confident that Sam will remain a Dundee United player for the rest of the season. With regards to trying to get him on a permanent, of course we'll be at the table and involved in those conversations, but there'll be a hell of a lot of other teams out there with potentially deeper pockets than what we have, but we're not going to concern ourselves with that right now. I don't want any distractions for any of my players here, Sam included. We just want them all to focus on the football, make sure that we try and stay in this position that we're in at the moment in the league, and that's where everybody's focus needs to be.
And just finally from you, team news, you'll have a lot of tired legs, but anyone who's out?
Yeah, we've got a lot of fatigue, a lot of players playing with niggles. Craig Sibbald, Louis Moulton, David Babunski are still all out, and we've picked up another few knocks in the game on Wednesday night, so we'll have to assess all of that by the end of the day and then make a decision on what the starting 11 looks like tomorrow.
Jim, just on the subject of bringing players in, the fact that Dundee United are doing so well this season, terrific stuff, 3rd place, that can only help you attract players in, because they'll presumably think, I want a part of that. Yeah,
absolutely, and that's what we're all hoping for. I think it is an attractive proposition for a lot of agents and players, and you're not asking someone to come in and be a part of a relegation dogfight where confidence is low. You're asking players to come in and be a part of a really positive culture and try and help this team, stay in the top 6. I think we have been inundated with requests from agents and from players. It's just about us going through that list of players and making sure we identify the right characters and the players with the right ability to strengthen us.
And on 3rd place, it's a really exciting battle, isn't it? You're just ahead of Aberdeen, Motherwell and St Mirren not far away, so you just need to keep going, but it's an exciting contest.
I think the league has been really exciting. Obviously, Celtic have managed to pull themselves away from the rest of the pack, and but the competition below that, for the top 6 in particular, it's so competitive. It's there's lots of teams still involved in the mix, lots of teams capable of going on good runs. I think Hibs will be one that a lot of teams below us will be looking at the moment, and to show what can happen if you manage to go and win 3 or 4 games on the spin. So there hasn't been a great deal between a lot of the teams in the league, and I think you see it again last night in the Dundee Rangers game. That there's not a huge gulf between 10 or 11 of the teams. Ross County, another one that people maybe ruled out a few months ago, have managed to put a great run of results together and climb up the table. So the important thing for us is that we focus on ourselves, that we don't get carried away. I know I've said it numerous times, but the complacency can't set in. We have to just work week to week and game to game and just keep trying to grind out these results, and hopefully over the next 11 games prior to the split we'll have accumulated enough points to make sure that we've stayed in the top 6.